Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us today. Um, Today, we have a very exciting agenda. We're actually going to go through the offline Teledentix Capture. Now, some of you may be seasoned users of Teledentix Capture and use it on a regular basis to capture x-rays or intraoral images from your patients. So what we're going to review today is the product overview. Why are we reviewing this today? So we have a lot of exciting updates, enhancements that are here, and of course, the offline ability, which is the most exciting, specifically for all of you guys that go out into the field or go to homes or offices and provide these services online. Or I'm sorry, on site. So we're going to go ahead and review that. We're also going to review what your current status is. Have you ever used Teledentix Capture? If not, how do you go about downloading it? If you have used Teledentix Capture, or maybe you have it installed on your computer right now, what are the steps that you need to take to make sure that you have the latest and greatest? There are some steps here, so definitely you want to definitely pay attention for that part. I do want to mention that everything that we review today is being recorded. We are recording this webinar. We'll go ahead and provide you with a recording. We'll also include specific one-on-ones that you can book with us, with the customer success team. If you have additional questions, maybe you want to do a one-on-one training in regards to everything that we go over today, no problem. We will definitely go ahead and open those doors up for you. So yes, we're also going to go over offline preparation. There are some steps, of course, that you need to take before you go to your site in order for all of this to work. So we'll go ahead and walk through that. And then last but not least, we'll go through the workflow. When you're online and you're capturing images, what does that look like? What are the new enhancements? All that good stuff. All right. So my name is Fabi Medina. A lot of you guys may know who I am. Welcome and a pleasure to meet everyone and have everyone here with us today. I also have our amazing James Rice. A lot of you guys may also be acquainted with him as well.
Hi, everyone. Nice to join
Yeah.
you today.
Yeah, awesome. James will also be a part of our panelists. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and check out within the Zoom. You should have a box at the bottom that says Q&A. Go ahead and drop your questions in there, and James and I will be taking a look at those periodically here so we can answer everyone's questions. So yeah, don't be shy. Go ahead and put in your questions at any time. Not a problem. You won't interrupt anything. Go ahead and enter your questions and we'll get them answered as soon as possible. All right, awesome. So let's go ahead and take a look at the product overview first. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here with let me go ahead and log into my Teledentix account so you guys can see what that looks like. All right, so just some really quick items to go over, just kind of high level. We have new editing features, obviously the offline capture. We also have offline appointment guides. So this means that you're not just tied into whatever appointments you already have on your calendar. If you have a patient pop up, I mean, that's production, right? That you would be losing out on if you didn't have any connection. So now with the newly enhanced feature, you are able to add an appointment into the system, and that new patient will have a routing slip that you can enter all of your notes and provided services, obviously capture images, and enter progress notes. So that's a really exciting feature we'll be going through in just a second here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here so that I can share my other screen with my Teledentix account here, so I can start my my capture. All right, so just a second here. Having multiple screens is all fun and games until you got to pick which one to choose, which one to share. So let's see here. All right. And James, if you can just confirm that you're looking at my Teledentix screen.
Yep, we can see you all good.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you. All right, guys. Okay. So let's go ahead and start off. So I'm going to go ahead and head on over to my dashboard. And as you guys know, the dashboard is the place where I want to go to every single day to see what my schedule looks like, right? What's in store for me today? So it looks like I'm going to Pelican Hills office, and I have appointments from 10 a.m. up until 3, a total of 5 patients here lined up back to back. All right, awesome. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on my first patient here. Pretty straightforward. Now, when you click on an appointment, what that's going to do is that's going to open up that patient's chart, which I'm looking at here. I can see his basic information right up here, and really just the appointment, right? Appointment type, which is office visit, the appointment details, etc. Now, I'm going to go ahead and head on over to images. Excuse me. Okay, and now from here, I'm going to go ahead and click capture. Okay, now you guys can see that I am online at the moment, right? Accurate. One of the things that has changed since our last update for Teledentix Capture is this screen right here, you do not want to get rid of. So we'll walk through that in just a second. But long story short, when you download the newly updated Capture app, when you first start your computer, you're going to get a message. You know those messages that you get when you update a feature or an app within your computer that says, are you sure you want to, make this change to your computer? That kind of message. So where it kind of blanks everything else out and it just has you either accept or cancel. You're going to get that every single time you start up your computer. And the reason for that is you always want to have Teledentix Capture open running in the background. Some of the issues that we encountered in the past was, hey, Teledentix is not running. I turned it on, but then I closed out of it, and now it's a little bit tougher for me to find it and start it back up. Specifically, if you have a lot of icons maybe on your desktop, it's not the easiest thing, and it's definitely not pleasant to have to go through that every time. So this is our solution to that. You have it start when you start up your computer and you leave it there. You let it run in the background until, of course, you shut down your computer and all is good. So what you're looking at here, this actual pop-up, I never want to close out of it. If I do, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but I will have to go into my desktop, locate the icon that's on my desktop, double click it, have it start. So, and when I have a patient in the chair, that's the last thing I want to do. That's the last thing I want to worry about. So this really just helps with that, right? Kind of managing that. So if I don't need it, if I don't need to take x-rays, that's okay. Let me go ahead and just minimize it or click outside of it and it'll just kind of go into the background, right? Out of sight, out of mind. In this case, of course, I want to take some x-rays for Elijah. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select my device and I'm going to select my template. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open capture form. And now we have something that looks like this. So I'm going to point out the differences and really just the updates, some new icons that you guys might see. And this is one of them. We have a gear here. Previously, just so you guys have some backstory, previously, whenever you opened up the capture, it was kind of like open, point, and shoot, and save. It was only after you saved the images that you were able to edit them. Change the brightness. Maybe you want to, rotate them. Maybe you want to add a tag. You want to tag them to a specific tooth number. You want to add a note. None of that was possible before. It was just like I said, you open up the capture, you start the capture, you take the images and you save and you're out of there onto the next. So now I'm going to go ahead and start my capture sequence here. Here's my lovely patient. All right, I'm going to grab an image here. And let's just say right in the middle of the capture, you know what? I don't really like this one. Let me go ahead and change it up. I can go ahead and click on this gear icon and edit that image. Okay, like now I can go ahead and delete it and I can add a tag all while I'm still in that capture sequence. So let me go ahead and take one more image here. Okay, so let's just say those are my images. Let me actually go ahead and edit one, just so you guys can see what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and click edit here. And now I am brought into the editor. Now, mind you, the editor lives within the capture. So you're not being kicked out of the capture. It's not like, oh my God, I didn't save it. It's going to remove the other two images. No. So you're good to go here. You're just given the opportunity to make changes to your image before you save the entire sequence or the entire study. Okay. So here, very excited, okay, to share some of these features with you guys. So none of this was here before. So this is all really new and exciting. So of course, I can go ahead and zoom in. I can go ahead and change the brightness. Click done here. Make sure you click done every time to lock in that change. I'm going to go to contrast and maybe make some, okay, that looks better. Click done on that. Let's go ahead and rotate the image. So previously the image rotation was something that you grabbed kind of by it was almost like a leash is the only word that comes to mind. You grabbed it and then you turned it like manually with your mouse, right? You turn the image. And of course that was like, oh, it's not right in the center. I can't get it to be right in the center, right in the middle. It looks a little tilted. So now you have the opportunity to just go ahead and make those 90-degree angle, which is really what we're looking for. We just want it to be, shift in another direction. So there we go. That looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and click done. I can, of course, add a marker. So some of you guys may have seen this in the image viewer. So everything that we're going through right now is the capture, what you're using to capture the image. We, of course, also have as a standalone the image viewer, where you're able to go into a patient's chart and view all of their images, and you can make changes there. And this is one of the changes that is definitely there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Not the most beautiful circle, but we'll go with it. I'm going to click done. You can add text, right? So if you want to add some text in here, there we go. I'm going to click done. All right. You can reset everything. Okay. Make it go back to, whatever you need to. Undo will undo the last edited feature or the last added component, whether it's a markup or verbiage, things like that. It'll go ahead and do that. Download, obviously, you can go ahead and download that. Although you may not need to download again. Okay, so previously users were downloading images because they wanted to then share those images either with the patient or with the responsible party or with the referral. None of that is needed. We obviously still do want to offer that for any other random case, but just so you know, within Teledentix, you are able to share this image that I just edited, that I just captured. I can share this with my patient. I can share it with the responsible party. Obviously, those two will go straight into the patient portal, so it's HIPAA secure. And I can also share all of these with a referring dentist. So if I end up referring this patient, I have the option to grab all of these images and share it with the referring dentist as well. So just FYI there. Cropping, pretty straightforward. I can go ahead and crop, flip. If I wanted to, I can go ahead and flip it, or invert, I think is another word for it, right? If you want to flip that, go ahead and click done. Awesome. And I'm going to go ahead and save. And there's my image. Okay. A lot of people were also asking for the ability to delete on the spot. So you know what? I don't want this one after all. I want to delete it, not a problem. Previously, that was not possible because obviously it was kind of it was meant to be captured as a sequence. So it was like A, B, C. You're done. You cannot have A and B and delete C and, be done with that. But now you can. So you can definitely go ahead and delete it. And then, of course, if you need to retake an image, we actually have it here as take single. Now, take single, why did we choose that word as opposed to retake, right? You may not want to retake an image, but maybe you want to start, let's just say I have an FMX, right? We all know that's a variation of a lot of capture slides. If I don't want to start from the upper left, I want to start from the upper right. Take single allows me to move around and select which teeth I'm capturing, which slide I want to fill in. I don't have to go in the sequence order. Obviously you can, that's meant to be, that's meant to facilitate your capture. But take single, I can either use it A, to retake an image, or B, to start my capturing from another area and jump around if I need to. We all know that's necessary sometimes. So there we have it. Okay, awesome. So I am going to go ahead and save. There we are. We're looking for that success message. Awesome. Now, from here, I'm going to close. I don't want to exit out. Remember, the exit is not our friend today within the capture, okay? We want to do close, all right? And then remember, you don't want to exit out of this, okay? So I'll keep pointing that out. I'll sound like a broken record a little bit, but that's okay. Don't want to exit out of it. Instead, I'm going to click outside of it, right? Pretty simple. And here is my image or my images. Here I can directly share with my patient. I can view my images, of course, and this is the Teledentix viewer. So remember, I'm out of the capture. Now I am in the viewing portion of it. So when I click view, it's going to take me into this area here where I can do the same thing. I can go ahead and edit after the fact, right? If I'm just the hygienist and um, I took the images and I'm not going to make any changes to them. I'm going to forward them to a provider or to another hygienist to review, and they can go ahead and make those changes after the fact. So definitely available here as well. I'm going to go ahead and just click on the image here, and here we have pretty much the same features that we just reviewed. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and save that. And then I'm going to close. Okay, there we are. I don't think I see any questions in the Q&A. So, yep. Am I doing that great, guys? You guys don't have any questions? All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and move on here. Let me go ahead and share my other screen to kind of go back into the presentation here to talk a little bit about what your current status is. And what I mean by that is, where are you right now with Teledentix Capture? Do you have it installed in your computer right now? Are you having trouble with it? Maybe you've never downloaded Teledentix Capture and you're unsure on how to go about that. So we're going to go ahead and review that momentarily here. Okay, so if you're new to Capture, you're simply going to download, and we'll walk through that in just a second here. Now, if you already have Capture on your computer or on a laptop that you use, oops, excuse me there, guys. My audio had a little break there. Okay, so yeah, if you already have Capture, you're going to want to uninstall the current version and clear out the previous app data. And we're going to walk through that as well. And the reason why we're not doing just a simple upgrade, it's because there's so many features and there's a lot of new implemented logic that went into this capture that was previously non-existent. So it really kind of requires an entire, swipe and start from fresh, okay? All right, so now here, this is how you download Teledentix Capture. Within your Teledentix account, you're going to go to Manage Account, you're going to go to Setup, and then you're going to select Downloads. In this page, you're going to go to Download Teledentix Capture app. When you do that, it's going to go ahead and give you that download. When you download a document, you always see it on the lower left-hand side or lower left or lower right-hand side of your desktop dashboard at the bottom. So you're just going to go ahead and click on it, and it's going to walk you right through it. It's a setup wizard where you literally just click next, 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 accept, next, and finish. And that's pretty much it. All right. Like I said, we will be sending all of you guys the booking link so that you guys can book a one-on-one with James or myself, and we can go through this together. Okay, so definitely don't look at the mountain. Let's just go ahead and do this together. We're here to help. All right. Now, updating, there's a little bit more that goes to it. And I will tell you guys, I'm not the most tech savvy person. I mean, you can definitely give me instructions like go here, click here, and I'll be fine. But once you start having these, parentheses and this, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. But I followed these instructions exactly and I had no problem. I was able to uninstall. Obviously, I do testing. I make sure that all of these things work. I actually, had to do this. So I uninstalled it from my personal computer. I, cleared the app data that you see here. All of this will be sent to everyone here. And I reinstalled it and I was fine. I'm like, okay, this was surprisingly, easy. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to James so he can kind of walk us through a little bit more detail there with the with clearing the app data. I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen here.
All
All
right,
right.
awesome. Thanks so much, Fabi. And just for a quick confirm, can you let me know if everyone can see my screen okay?
Yes, we can see your program files.
Okay, great. So let me go ahead and share. So the first thing that I want to take a look at here is going to be uninstalling the Teledentix Capture app program. So just as a reminder, this is going to be for those who have already installed this once on their computer or their device, and we're going in to update it. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're actually going to come up here to the search bar. And opening up our search function here, I just want to look for add or remove programs. That's going to pull up a list of all of my apps and programs on my computer. And then from here, what I want to do is just search for Teledentix Capture. And then clicking on this one here, you can see I have an uninstall button. So what you want to do is go ahead and click uninstall and then just follow the uninstall wizard through. Now, once you've uninstalled the previous version of Teledentix Capture app, the next thing that you're going to want to do is go through and clear the app data. And so if you're not familiar with what app data is, a really good way to think about it is it's kind of like clearing the history from your web browser. So if you're in Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, something like that, you want to clear the history, get rid of all that stored data. This is basically the same thing, just for like an individual software program. So once we've uninstalled Teledentix Capture, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my File Explorer. Taking a look in my File Explorer, the first place I'm going to want to go to is the This PC folder. And then from the This PC folder, we're going to pop right into what's called the C drive. Now you'll notice it from the symbol, the C with the little parentheses. Usually that one's going to be called OS as well, but it might be called local, sort of just depending on how your computer is set up. So popping into the drive here, the first place we're going to go to is the program files x86. So there's two program files. We're going to go to program files x86. And then from here, I want to find virtual dental care. Clicking into virtual dental care, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to delete both of these files. I'm just going to totally clear out this folder. Now, once I've deleted both of these files, there's just one more spot that I want to clear. That's going to be back here in the C drive. And then from here, instead of going to program files x86, this time I'm going to go to the users folder. So from my C drive to my users folder. And then here, I'm going to want to go ahead and select the user that I'm logged into. So when you open up your computer, if you put in a password to log in, bring you to your desktop here, you'll just want to go ahead and select that user. Now, from here, what you're going to want to do is go into the app data folder. Now you'll notice my app data folder is kind of grayed out there. This is technically a hidden folder in the File Explorer here. So if you don't see that app data folder here, what you'll want to do is click on View and then click on Hidden Items to allow the viewing of hidden items. Once I've allowed the viewing of hidden items, I should definitely see that app data folder here. So after that, I'll go ahead and click into app data, and then I want to click right into the local folder. And then from there, we're going to actually find what's called virtual store. So once again, that's going to be users, the user from your computer, app data, local, and then the virtual store. Clicking into virtual store, once again, we'll go to program files x86, and then here we'll find our virtual dental care folder, and we just want to go ahead and delete that one. So pretty straightforward here. Kind of the steps would be uninstall, then we're going to go into the app data and remove it. If you remember from what we are just kind of running over, the first place is program files x86, and then from here to virtual dental care folder, delete that one, right back to our C drive, and then to our users, into our user, into our app data folder, local, and then deleting it from the virtual store. Now, I know it can be a little intimidating getting in here to the plumbing of the computer. If you have any questions, concerns, just let myself, Fabi, know. We're happy to kind of set up a time to go over this individually and get it all smoothed out for your machines. With that in mind, I'll go ahead and pass it back over to you, Fabi, to clear up the rest of the presentation. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thanks, James. All right, so yes, guys, remember, you guys can go ahead and reach out. We are going to offer those one-on-one bookings. So again, if you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to reach out and book yourself a session, okay? All right, I do want to clarify that none of what James just reviewed is going to, mess with or ruin or change anything else that you have within your computer. Okay, this is very specific to Teledentix and to the Capture app. So just keep that in mind. I just want to make that disclaimer there. Okay. All right. So moving back into the capture here, let's go ahead and go over the offline preparation. So let me go ahead and just share my screen once again here. Okay, so offline preparation. There are some preparation steps that you need to take prior to using this amazing feature and of course going, on site. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my next screen here. Okay. So we covered the fact that when you start up your computer, you're going to have Teledentix Capture running in the background. Again, remember, if you close out of it, it's not the end of the world, but you do want to make sure that you restart it before you do the following. So here, I'm just sharing, you find the icon on your desktop. You're going to go ahead and double click on it. It's going to give you that pop-up that says, are you sure you want to make changes to your computer? We're going to say, okay. And then it's going to go ahead and launch you into this page. And that's the page that we talked about where you always want to keep this open. Now, it is going to ask you for your username and password. The reason for that is, aside from you logging into Teledentix, you want to use those same credentials to log into your Capture. Obviously, Capture needs to know which office, which enterprise to take the information out of. So make sure that you log in, and then you'll be good to go there. All right, let me go ahead and stop this share here, and I'm going to go into my next screen, which is going to take me right back into Teledentix. So let me go ahead and select this here, and I'm going to share. All right. Okay, so now that I'm here, let's just say I'm going to go out into the field today. I want to make sure that I'm prepared. I have everything good to go. So whenever I select capture, really, I'm going to get this pop up. Now, remember, that's always going to actually be available to me no matter what, but this is just a really quick and easy way to get it to come up. Go into any patient's chart, it doesn't matter, and go into capture so that you can launch this, this capture pop-up page. Now from here, I am going to go ahead and select my appointments, okay? This area here on top kind of lives separately than what it does down here. So don't think that, oh, I opened it under, Elijah Timber, it's only going to download his appointment. No. So I'm just using that as kind of a gateway to get into this page. I'm going to go ahead and select my appointments. All right. And now this is why it's so important for us to log in right into the capture as well. So I am going to select the date, which is it's set for today's date. That's perfect. I'm going to select out of the offices. I only am going to Pelican Hills today, so I only want to download those appointments. And you can select the providers. If I have appointments with all of the providers, I can select all providers, or I can just go ahead and select my name. Now, I've already downloaded this pre the webinar because I actually have a recording. I can't show you guys in real time, obviously, if I'm offline, right? So I did record that, and I'm going to go ahead and play that for you in just a second. But I want you to see kind of what the preparation steps are. And it's as simple as this, right? As long as I do this before I go on site, I am good to go. Okay. Each and every patient that is on my scheduler is going to get their very own routing slip and capture sequence, okay? I don't have to pre-select the template. All of that, I will have the exact same functionality that I showed you previously when I was online: ability to edit, ability to tag, ability to delete, ability to retake. I have that exact same functionality when I'm offline. And we're so excited for this, and I'm sure you guys are too. So this is all it is. This is the prep. Now, of course, it takes some getting used to remember to do this, but as long as you do this, you are good to go. So once I've downloaded my appointments, that's it. I don't need to do anything else here. I can go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that pop-up, and I can come in here. And of course, I get to the site. I turn on my computer. I have internet. Everything is wonderful, and I can start my capture. So now let me go ahead and share the video with the offline capture here. So there we are. And I'll go ahead and just kind of talk through it. But here I am. I'm at the office now. Here's my appointment. I'm going to go ahead and start off with Andy's appointment there. So just what we reviewed previously, I'm going to click on Andy's appointment. That's going to open up his chart. I'm going to go right into images because that's exactly what I want to do first, right? I want to take those images. So I'm going to go ahead and select my device. Now I'm going to pause here because I want you to keep an eye on this here. This always lets me know what my status is. Is it online? Is it offline? Where am I at the moment? So keep an eye on that. But yeah, everything that we reviewed previously, I'm going to select my device. This is both for you to take intraoral images and x-rays. And then of course, selecting my template. All right, let me go ahead and resume. All right, so there I am. I'm going to go ahead and open up the capture. I'm going to start my sequence, and I'm going to start taking those images here. Now, as soon as you click start sequence, it literally does that. It takes you in that sequence. Okay, but remember, you can always stop the capture sequence and jump around by take single. Now, I finished taking my images. It looks like I wasn't really filling that one, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And now I've turned off my Wi-Fi, right, to signify, the offline. So this is completely offline at this exact moment. I can still go ahead and click take single. I just took another image. The first two images I was online, third image offline, okay? I'm going to go ahead and save, and then I'm going to close from this area. There you are. So I am offline. Let's go ahead and take a second to read through that. So it says you are not connected to the internet. All images will be stored locally and can be uploaded once you're back online. So just keep that in mind. Now I'm offline at this point. Now remember, I backed up my appointments. I downloaded my appointments, so I'm good to go. I have not a care in the world. I'm all good. I'm going to go on to my next patient here. And actually within Andy, still staying within Andy, as you saw, I have a routing slip. And let me just go back there really quick because I think I went through that just a little too fast. Okay, so right here. Whoops. Go back 10 seconds there. All right. So as you can see, here are all of my appointments that I downloaded for today. I have basic information here for my patient. So I make sure I'm not seeing, Elijah Timber that was born in 2002. It's Elijah Timber 1990. So I have the birth date. I have, obviously first, last name. I have appointment time and the length of that appointment. So I can still kind of keep track of my calendar where I am. So all of that is in here. How amazing is that? And like I said, every single patient has their own routing slip and capture ability. So I'm going to go ahead and play that again. All right, there is Andy's solo test. I'm going to go ahead and click on the routing slip, and this is what the routing slip looks like. So again, just really quickly, we make sure to include as much high detail information, but also keeping it very compact. So obviously you don't want to print out a full report on this patient, but you want to have access, you want to have visibility to the items that are of high importance, right? Medical alerts are important. So that's, right up here, responsible party, or are they responsible for themselves? So have that information also. If nobody's here, then they're good to go. We also have scheduled appointments. specifically if there's any additional scheduled appointments other than today's. Next appointments here, any recalls, are they due for any recalls? Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Any visits that they had in the past, first visit, last visit, did they miss a visit? When was that? Etc. Patient notes and billing information, ledger balance. Of course, if you still have access to, charging a credit card, you have this information here. All right. Now, entering procedure codes. Now, originally, this was going to be like, you enter the code and really a routing slip in the most traditional way, if you think about it, it's literally a document, right? And you write everything down. Um, I'm not smirking at it, okay? I'm just saying we've come a long way, guys. So you write everything down and then you got to go into your computer. You got to enter everything by hand or pay somebody else to do that, right? So here, not only are we giving you the accessibility to a routing slip, but it's interactive, guys. Like this is, just on another level in terms of what you're going to be able to do without having to print anything, without having to write anything down, without having to carry paper with you and have, a record that, can be lost or misplaced. Everything is in one place. And even better, when I'm back online, I'm good to go. I can go ahead and sync all of the information that I'm entering right here and rest assured that it's going to show up in my patient's chart. So just really excited here. Exciting things. So here we've added a list of procedure codes, very basic, ADA procedure codes. Now, of course, if you don't see a code here that you use, go ahead and enter it in the progress note. Worst case scenario, go ahead and add it there. But I can add as many codes as I want. So if I need to add 5 codes, 3 codes, 7 codes, I can go ahead and add. I do not have a limit as to how many I can add. And I can go ahead and enter my progress notes as well. Now, obviously, keep in mind, I am offline, so I don't have access to those, what do you call it, to the templates. You know how we can save templates for the macros in Teledentix. So I can have a template, and when I go into my patient's progress note, I can pull up the template, wham, bam, it's in there. I'm good to go. So we don't have access to that here. Keep in mind, we're offline, but I can go ahead and enter, type out my message. And I mean, it's just one less thing that I have to write out on a piece of paper. It's in here. It's safe. I'm good to go. All right. Now, when I save, it's going to go ahead and give me that success message. So great. Of course, if you have connectivity to the printer, if it's connected directly, you can go ahead and print this. I know that a lot of you guys may go to, locations where you have to leave a copy of that at the site. So you can definitely do that here. I'm going to head on over to my next patient, Cooper Harris. Now, remember, this is completely offline. So all I did was I went into her line item and I clicked start capture. One thing that I didn't show on this video, but I want to point out is, what if I have a new patient come in? What if I have someone that was like, oh, I didn't sign up, but I definitely, do you have time for another patient? I don't want to lose out on that, right? That's production. That's another, patient that I can start building a relationship with. It's something that, again, back when there was no offline capture, it was something that you just kind of had to cut your losses and sadly walk away. Well, not anymore. So if I have a new patient come in that's not in my appointments download, they're not readily accessible, I don't have that capture form, I don't have that routing slip, we have added the component of adding an appointment. Now, adding an appointment, does that mean that it's an actual appointment? Like, I know that we tend to get into the nitty gritty of that. Like, what kind of appointment? Are they going to be charged for it? Like, what's going to happen? No, you're basically just adding another line item to that my appointments list that we were previously looking at. That's all it is. So I would have to, again, click add appointment. And then I would have to fill this in. As you can see here, there are some areas that are required. So you definitely want to fill those out. But if there is no patient ID, don't worry about it. The email you also want to, add for your own benefit. But as you can see, it's not required either. So if they don't have an email, don't know their email, I'm not going to be prevented from, taking my images because I don't have that. All right. So, yep, pretty straightforward. Add appointment. You add that information by hand, and then you can start the capture form for that patient. All right, so but here I'm going to go ahead and continue with my capture, offline capture for Harris Cooper. I'm going to go ahead and start my capture sequence. I'm going to take my images. And like I mentioned, you have the same functionality that you did when you were online. So, really have the opportunity here to you're really not losing out on anything. We're giving you the exact same options. Um, it's not something that you have to wait until you're back online to make edits and to change and all that good stuff. So yeah, this is really, really exciting for us. Okay, awesome. All right. I'm gonna turn my internet back on. So now I'm back. It's good. I'm happy. And I'm going to go ahead and you know, get out of there. There we are. We're back into the capture here. I'm online. Great. Okay. Now, let me go ahead and go back really quick because I want to highlight what I'm doing here. So once I'm back online, right, I can go ahead and continue as if nothing ever happened. Internet, I never lost internet. Go into your next patient, go ahead and start it up and do all that good stuff. What I'm going to show you here is once I'm back online, you can do this at the end of the day. You can do this in the middle of your day as soon as you're back online. I'm going to go ahead and now upload my x-rays, my treatments, my progress notes, everything that I did offline. I want to make sure that is saved. Okay. I want to lock that in. I'm going to make sure I don't lose anything. So I'm going to click upload x-rays. Okay. Now, what it's going to show me here is anything that happened offline. Okay. So let's just be really clear about that. So if I took images for a patient while I was 100% online and I saved it and I'm good to go, it's not going to show up here. And don't be alarmed. This is only offline captured images. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and match up my patient that I dealt with offline with the patient that I have in my database. Now, of course, for any new patients, I'm very much literally just uploading that information, meaning it's going to be a brand new chart with the information that I captured offline. But in this case, if you take a look here on the drop down, I am going to be given possible matches based on it's going to be pretty, specific. It's going to be based on first, last name, date of birth, and email. So it's going to take all of that into consideration. And if it's any type of possible match, it's going to pull it up. So as you can see here, I only have one Cooper Harris, one possible match, gender, age, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and select my patient. Now, what happens if, when I was taking images on Cooper Harris, she kind of glanced at the screen, or maybe I confirmed her email with her or her date of birth or something. And she was like, no, 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 no. I'm not from 74. I'm from 84. All right. And we needed to make that change. You can go ahead and change it right here. So if you need to change it in order to make that sync, just to link it up and to make sure that it goes up into the chart, you can do that. So you can still go ahead and edit that chart information based on what you captured offline or the transaction that took place offline, and then still make that change afterwards. So don't worry about that. You can, still make it so that it fits, it works, and you match it. And then you can go ahead and change that information once you're online if you need to. But yep, I'm going to go ahead and grab my patients there. I'm going to sync and then I'm good to go. So once I synced my images, let me go ahead and just get out of here. Let me push this over. All right. So once I've done that for my patients, they're now going to have, number one, the images, most important. Most importantly, I'm going to have my images in here. I'm also going to have their treatment codes, and this is the patient that I added it for, but we're going to have our treatment codes that we added in the patient's ledger. One thing that I want to point out in regards to the treatment codes. Now, you guys may have noticed that when I was entering procedure codes into my patient's routing slip, there were no fees associated. So just keep that in mind. And the reason why we did that is because right now we do have the ability for you to enter different fee schedules, and we're just not able to get to that information while you're offline. So we decided to keep it blank. So when you come in here, you are going to see those procedure codes, but they're all going to be at a zero charge. So you will have to go through those and enter those charges manually. Okay, so I just want to point that out there. But the procedure codes will be there. The treating provider information will be there. And of course, the general progress notes will also be here as well. So yeah, let's see here. All right, so in terms of sharing those images, I think we did. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. We did talk about, having the ability to share with your patient, which you can by clicking on share with patient here. All right. Now, this is going to prompt the patient to log into their patient portal and, review the images there. But do remember, you can also create a case presentation and share those images. Now, the case presentation I actually favor just a little bit more, because what a case presentation does is it allows me to kind of wrap everything up beautifully. Think about it as, if I'm sharing the images, I'm just kind of giving you the gift. You're going to like it, you're going to love it, but a case presentation, I'm wrapping it up. I'm taking the time to really make it a beautiful presentation. And that's exactly what the case presentation does. So here, I'm just going to walk through it really quickly, but really the focus here is that I'm able to share images. So from here, I'm going to be thrown into this chart here where I can go ahead and make some notes. Maybe, Elijah and I talked about he needs to brush a little bit better on his lower lingual side. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that up here. You can definitely do that. But this is where you can go ahead and attach X-ray and images. So here I can select specific images. Maybe I don't want to add the whole thing. If you want to add the whole thing, all good. You can go ahead and just click add. But if I just want to add this one that I, marked up and added a note to, I can go ahead and just select that. Okay. Now, at the end of all of this, I can also go ahead and select, treatment. If I want to add treatment, like a treatment plan, I can go ahead and share progress notes. I can share education pieces, which is very popular. So I can go ahead and, let them know this is what you're going to have if you don't brush better, Elijah. But here, let me go ahead and actually grab this one. Whoops. Let me go ahead and click add. Okay. Let me go ahead and get out of here. All right. And then I'm going to save this case presentation. Now, a case presentation kind of has a multiple purposes. You can not only share a case presentation with the patient, but you can also share this when you're referring the patient to a different provider. And I really like the thought again of the case presentation because it allows me to pick and choose, like cherry pick the pieces of the record that I want to share. Maybe I don't want to share absolutely everything in my forms and my procedure codes and my fees. I just want to share very specific information. I want to share the X-ray, the reason why I'm referring him, and maybe some education that I've shared with the patient, and that's about it. So this is exactly what the patient will see when they log into their patient portal and they click on that case presentation that you shared. And this is exactly what the provider will see when you refer this patient and you attach this case presentation. So case presentation can be as long and elaborate as you'd like and as short and sweet if you make it that way by just selecting a few pieces of information. All right, awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the questions here. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at those. All right, so we had a question. Is capture both for radiographs and intraoral photos? Absolutely. You can use both. As we saw there, when I selected my drop down, that is where I have that selection there. So when I go to my capture, right, have here the capture device. So I'll have, if I have, let's just say an easy sensor, I can select that, or I can select USB video device, which is my intraoral camera that I was using just a little while ago. So yes, absolutely. All right, I have another question that says, can we assume that our computer or laptop will update on the capture software, or do we have to do this manually to be safe? Yes, you will have to do that manually. And again, just to reiterate, the reason is there are just so much added functionality with this release that just updating the previous version is not going to cut it. The previous version was not built to supply such functionality that we currently have. So we will have to go through that sequence that James was amazing enough to demo for us, and uninstall, clear the app, and then reinstall fresh. So yeah, definitely book those sessions with us, guys, if you have additional questions, and we can go ahead and help you with that. All right. So how can you do anything? Another question. How can you do anything offline if you have to get online first? That's a great question. And really the trick there is that you do that prep work before you go out. If you want to do it the day before, please do. If you want to do it the morning of, please do. The point is you do have to have internet connection prior to doing anything offline. It does require that prep work that we talked about it. So you do have to go to my appointments first, download your appointments. Always, always, always. So yeah, definitely if you want to make that like, super high priority, I'm going to do this like the week before, go ahead and do that. But yes, you do have to download before you have any access to the offline feature. All right. But don't forget, let's just say you don't do that. Let's just pretend, it didn't happen. It may happen, right? It's okay. Remember, we have the offline at appointment. Now, the only thing there is you are going to have a little bit more work once you get back online because you added all of those new appointments offline as if they were, Teledentix is recognizing them as like, whoops, they didn't have an appointment. Maybe they're not a patient. So you are going to have to do that manual syncing process where you're going to go ahead and have to match it up to the current chart that you have in there. I think that those are great questions, guys. So I feel like we'll definitely address a lot of these also in the help portal. So if you guys are familiar with the knowledge base, which you guys can all access through your Teledentix account, you can go to help and support right over here, and that's going to take you directly into our knowledge base where you can look up anything that has to do with the offline capture, with capture in general. But yes, worst case scenario, you don't do it. You can still go ahead and capture by adding these appointments, fresh. Um, all right. So here we have another question, another great question that says, can we have a patient file without an email address associated to it? Or is it just for the offline feature? And then you would add it right after. Correct. When you're adding the appointment offline, there's been a lot of instances where, yes, patients don't know their email. Maybe you're seeing a child, maybe you're on school campus, and this child is not going to know what email they have, right? So it's not going to be required, but yes, it is required when you're entering the chart into Teledentix when you're online. As we all know, it does require an email address, but that's okay. The point is that offline you are able to add it without an email, you're able to capture, and then it's just once you get online and you sync everything up, you are going to have to add an email for that chart. All right. And it's also important to note that, of course, the emails are important because the responsible party or the patient can then access their patient portal, if they have an email, when they have an email associated to their account. All right. Last question here is, when are we able to select a case presentation when sending it to a referring dentist? Fabulous question. So I'm actually going to go into patients, all patients. I'm going to show you that really quick. Let's go ahead and I believe his last name was Timber. There it is. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and select options, and I'm going to refer to a provider. I'm going to select my referral type. I can go ahead and create a new type if I wanted to. Needs wisdom teeth extraction. Okay, awesome. I can search my community, meaning I can search providers that I'm associated with. And let me see, I think I have a Neil or a, yep, okay, perfect. I can go ahead and search my community. So your community basically is the thought of having providers connected within your network. So think of it almost like LinkedIn, right? I can see other providers. I can definitely refer to a new provider, someone that I don't have within my community or in my quote unquote friends list. Something like that. In your community is what we call it. But you can definitely go ahead and refer to a brand new provider. So if you know Dr. Lee from down the street, he's an amazing oral surgeon, but he's not using Teledentix, that's okay. I can go ahead and still refer to a brand new provider. All I'm going to need for that is email, first name, last name, and phone number. And I can go ahead and refer. Now, that is going to prompt Dr. Lee to go through a really quick and easy registration. I'm talking quick and easy, like a minute. Okay. So he's going to confirm his first last name that you entered. He's going to confirm the email that you entered, and he's going to create a password. Reason why he's creating a password is because he is going to have access to his very own Teledentix dashboard where he can see all of the patients that you refer to him in the future. And once he's in the system, once he's a Teledentix user, he will show up now within your community. So you don't have to, do this anymore. You can go ahead and look him up. You can select and then refer him a number of patients after that. Now, you inviting a brand new provider is of no charge to you or the provider, okay? And he or she is not going to get an account that looks like yours, but rather kind of a slimmer version of it where it simply allows them to gain the accessibility to those patients that you refer to them, access whatever information you shared with them. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and attach files for Dr. Connor. And it's going to walk me through all of the available areas that I have to share. So medical history, maybe I want to share that. I'm going to go ahead and attach it. Whoops, I haven't added anything. Never mind. Case presentation. Here's the case presentation that I just created. I can have just a sneak peek just to make sure that, yes, this is the right one. Maybe I have multiple case presentations. This is the one I want to share. I'm going to attach it. Head on over to forms. Maybe this patient filled out a medical form. I can go ahead and attach it. Any uploads, any notes, progress notes, any prescriptions, and any images. So I can go ahead and attach those. Awesome. Going to attach those files. And I have one last view, which is, just letting me know this is who you're referring, uh, who you're referring, who you're referring them to, and what you are sending this provider. This provider will have an email notification that they've received a referral. And of course, they will have access to those x-rays as well through the viewer. Again, just fabulous. We love it. And I'm going to go ahead and complete that referral. All right. Awesome. All right, guys, fabulous, fabulous questions. Thank you so much. I think those were helpful to everyone, and for maybe the people that aren't too familiar with the referral system, I hope that was helpful. Thank you guys so much. Remember, we are going to send you this recording so you guys can enjoy it and, look back on it. And maybe you guys want to, I would definitely replay James's part. Okay. That really helps me. It's like a watch and go, watch and follow. But yes, we're also going to send you the one-on-one link. So if you guys want to book a one-on-one with James or myself, we'll go ahead and take care of you. We're also going to go ahead and include some of the help or knowledge-based articles that we have up in our help portal. But if you guys want to take a head start on that, you guys can go ahead and click on help and support right over here, which is going to automatically reroute you to the Teledentix help portal. And you guys can take a look at the x-ray and imaging box here. We'll also most likely include the webinar here, but that's TBD. All right. Thank you guys so much. It was such a pleasure to be with you all. I hope this was, exciting and educational. And please let us know if you need anything at all. Everyone have a great weekend. Thank you so much.